First, Nate, I know a lot of people are probably going like, I already know all about adaptive training. I've been using it. It's awesome. But there are plenty of people that have not actually started using adaptive training, might not even know what it is. So we should probably give them the basics, right? We should describe why we built it first, right?
Yeah, I have something else I have to say getting out of my head. I
Oh, yeah.
usually don't have you so big on my screen, and you look so good on this one.
Well,
When it's just you, all big,
good
like your
vibes.
lighting's perfect. It's very cool. It feels like you're right here. Okay, so why do we build adaptive training? Adaptive training, like, came up. This idea has been around for a long time. Back in like early 2011, 2012, I knew this was part of TrainerRoad's future. That's why I say it's been a long time. Like that was the vision back then to be able to do this. And what we needed is a system that responds to your performance, because one, not everyone's the same. So there's a lot of studies that show like, bell curve and what makes people faster. And we can make training plans around those, but that's really a bell curve, right? And if you fall on the outside, it probably isn't the most optimal way to train. Two, though, this is the big one, is life happens all the time and things change, and you're not a robot and you can't just nail your plan all the time. And we've, over the years on the podcast, that's been a big part of the podcast, is we've helped people understand what you can do in order to adjust that when life happens, change things. But we needed it to scale, and we still would have so many questions of people of how can I change this? I missed this workout, or I didn't do well, or I performed really well in this workout. How should my plan change? How should my fitness evolve? And adaptive training is in direct response with that. Is what can we do as you perform? How does that then change your plan? As your goals change, how does that change your plan? As life gets in the way, you get sick, you travel, how does that change your plan in the future? And also, though, how then do we train Jonathan's specific physiology, which is different than mine? He might respond differently to VO2 max intervals than I will. And I might respond differently to a 65-year-old man or woman. All of those things are baked into adaptive training, and that's why we built it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's with everything that we had in place before with Plan Builder and everything else, we got really good at training people, making them faster, and doing so within that bell curve. This allows us to extend beyond that. But then, like you said, everybody that resides within the bell curve drifts in and out of it just because of life happening. So yeah, it allows us to be able to train people as individuals. It's awesome. And we should talk little bit about how it works. What are the basics, Nate?
Yeah, the basics are that while you work out afterwards, we have a machine learning, which is just a part of AI that analyzes your workouts. And then based on that, it updates your training plan. Or if you're not on a training plan, what it does is adjust your levels. And we can talk more about levels of how it's like a profile of how well you perform as an athlete. And then that then drives your training plan, or if you use Train Now and stuff in the future. Also, though, if you skip a workout, you don't have to complete a workout. So if you miss a workout, or if you don't perform well in a workout, that gets fed into the system and then it updates again too. This is really like a way that you want to take out like confusion into the process of like, what should I do next? Or if I didn't do this perfectly right, or if I perform too well, or not too well, but over the target or under the target, what happens? And a lot of times it's hard to understand. And that's what adaptive training is supposed to do, to be able to make it so that it takes that confusion away. You just have confidence in the system that, hey, I'm going to get the right workout every time, and I can move forward and just do what it says.
Yeah, and it's the two most basic components of this are objective input and subjective input. The objective input is how you do on your workout, right? We're able to see the power data compared to what you were supposed to do. And as a result, our system analyzes your rides with machine learning algorithms that we've been training and will continue to train forever. So then we get this really deep analysis of how you did. And then we ask you with these surveys, this is where the subjective part comes in. We ask you with these surveys thereafter how the workout felt. And even though that seems really simple, the combining of those two things is really powerful. And it allows us to be able to make the right changes. And then you get the right workout every time. And that's really what the goal is. And that's kind of what it feels like. It's cool because in one respect, you'd think that this is going to be super complicated, because really it is very complicated in terms of what has gone into developing it. But it's so easy to use, right? Yeah. But it's so easy to use because you just do your workouts, you fill out the surveys, and then it says, here are your adaptations. And it's that easy. So it's that objective performance data, the subjective feedback that we get from you as an athlete, and it allows you to be trained as an individual. Super cool.
Yeah, for those who don't know that survey, it's if you do the workout and everything's as planned, you get a 1 through 5 of how hard it was. 1 being easy, 5 being an all-out effort. And inside of that, as long as it's not, as long as you're consistent in your responses and you like, it's, I don't know, we're getting this right now, Jonathan, but I'm talking about, so we should.
Yeah. Why not?
The response to this, because there's confusion of like, well, how do I say what a workout should be? This was a VO2 max workout, and it was easier than I thought it would be. It was still really hard. Do I say it's easy, or do I say it's all out, or hard? I'm not understanding. And what it is just, how is that workout feel, not how you expected it to feel. So for me, I do a VO2 max workout. It is almost always hard or very hard, and sometimes all out. And all out means like I had nothing left to give. I could not give anymore. And I think we've all felt this in a race capacity. You're like, well, I've never felt this at a TrainerRoad workout. That's probably a good thing. Like, you don't have to have that all out thing all the time. But a very hard, for me personally, when I think of very hard, is like, man, I do not want to do another interval. I might be able to, but I really don't want to. And for me, hard is like, I could do more intervals. But it's what is important about the system is you stay consistent, and we're looking for big shifts. So if you do a VO2 max workout and you say it was easy, Adapt Training is going to say, you are way off the target right here. We're going to push your levels. So we're going to make you advance faster in VO2 max until we find something where it starts to be difficult for you, because the hard day should be hard. Opposite, if you have an easy day and you're like, it's a easy 30-minute spin and it becomes very hard, well, something else is going on, right? And that's going to feed into the system too. So that's the nice part of it. And then also, if you don't finish a workout early, we need to know that information, and it will send you, we'll ask you, why didn't you finish early? Because if you just stop a workout, we don't know if it's, you didn't have enough time, was like a kid crying, or did you just give up? Like, did you not have the mental energy? And there's a whole bunch of questions in there. Do you feel sick? Did your equipment break? There's a lot of things that could happen. And we need that information too, in order to push this system forward and get more data into it. And also to know how to change your training plan. Because there's a big difference if you're doing a VO2 max workout and you just don't have enough time to finish. Then this was soul crushing, and I only got through 30 minutes because I could not go any farther.
Yeah, absolutely. And once again, reiterating what you said, don't overcomplicate it. It's just how the workout felt. It's not how it felt in relation to anything else. It's just how it felt. So if it feels really hard that day, then it's hard. If it feels easy that day, then it's easy. It's just how it feels. A lot of people are like, should I comment on how it felt at the end of the workout or halfway through it? No, just how did it feel? If you look back at it, how did it feel? Simplifying it really helps you make it more consistent over time too. So you don't have to go so deep into the weeds. Yeah.
And you're not going to mess it up by one. There should be no stress on this. It should just be like in the moment. Oh, that felt hard. Okay. And then you move forward.
Answering a 4 instead of a 3 doesn't mean that your training is going to go 180 degrees away. Right.
Yeah. It's not a big deal.
Yeah. It's built to be able to handle all that. Let's talk a bit about the beta process and what we've done. So the development process in and of itself, many times you start out with an alpha, go to a beta, and then you go to production. But that there's finer resolution within all of that, right? In the sense that the beta usually has different steps to it. And for us, we had a private beta, and that was what everybody signed up for when we announced this back, I think, in February of last year, which is super exciting.
Well, we had before that, we used it for
6
months. 7-8 months. More than that. But when it was actually in a state that we could personally use it, it was a long time.
Yeah. So we used it there. Then we opened up the beta so that people could sign up. And then we did a staged rollout. What's the point of doing the staged rollout, Nate?
Yeah, the stage rollout is, so we have a lot of users and our athletes. And what can happen is if you open the floodgates, you can overwhelm your both your technical processing system, and you can overwhelm employees, because if you have a huge bug, you could have, let's say, thousands of people sending in support tickets in the same hour. And we have a lot of employees, but we don't have that many employees, and we're not going to be able to handle that. And then the engineers get this pressure of, this needs to be fixed right away. And the product managers, and then marketing is like, you're killing our brand. Oh my God. And it's this unnecessary way to be able to open up to everyone at once. Even though I think with this product, a lot of people have been super duper excited about it, and they want it in so fast. And I feel that with people, and I understand, because no one wants it out faster than I do, I think, in the world. So I feel that wanting to come out, but that's why we did it in slow stepped phases is because we did have bugs. We had some bugs that like actually, I think we had like 100 people on it, and we took down our own site and we fixed it. But because of the processing, and you can imagine if we had tens of thousands of people on it, how that would have handled it, or what would have happened to our site. So that's why, I mean, we're human, and we had to do a step process, and that's the most efficient way. But we also learned things during that process about we improved the product because we got feedback, so we could look at little groups, change something, improve it, get the feedback, and then also and then next group kind of refine it and understand it more. So that's the way that I think TrainerRoad likes to do software releases, where it's stepped in small gates. We add more people and more people and more people. I can understand though it's frustrating. You kind of want to, the ideal way is it gets fully baked, you don't hear about it, and then on the launch day, you can fully experience it, because then you don't have to wait, and it's very, very exciting. Until we get much, much bigger and have a better system on that, I don't think that's going to happen, just to set expectations.
For sure. Yep. Yeah. This is how the development process works. And overwhelmingly, the feedback and the improvement that we've seen from athletes has been super positive. It's really exciting. I want to share some data behind that too, some stuff that we can share here. So roughly 25% of TrainerRoad athletes trained with adaptive training during the beta period. It's important to keep in mind that beta periods aren't meant to replicate at full scale, right? They're supposed to give you the sample size sufficient to be able to improve the product, right? So with that, some cool data points with this. Athletes that have enabled adaptive training have seen a 50% 50% decrease in failed workouts year over year. So
what's a failed workout?
Yeah. So that's a workout where you weren't able to complete it because it was just too difficult, right? Came to a stop partway through, weren't able to finish the intervals. And to put that in greater context, if I was training last year without adaptive training, and then this year I was training with adaptive training, that data says that I would have a 50% decrease in the amount of workouts that I failed. Consistency is one of the most driving metrics with training that we see in helping people get faster. So this is a huge, huge improvement for our athletes.
Let me explain more too why that's so important, is the reduction in failed workouts. And that's even if you turn down the workout a ton, right? Or you start skipping intervals, you take breaks in intervals. And our system too, our system is smart enough to know that if you just skip one or you do a little bit of a break, it's not going to air quotes fail you. Like there's a room in there, and there's workouts that completely crush you, and those are the ones we're trying to detect. But inside of this, like what would happen is, because people would take breaks, or maybe the VO2 max to ramp test ratio for you is outside of that bell curve, that you got challenged too much on those workouts, and that's why you would then fail those. Or you would actually pick a workout from the library. We sell this a lot, and all workouts aren't the same. Just because you have an FTP doesn't mean you can do every single workout in every single energy zone right away. Yeah. And that's what we have in the level system that we can explain later. But we actively try to guide people away from workouts that they're not ready for. So you get an FTP, and maybe you start with 10 minutes at threshold intervals, and you work your way up, and you can work your way all the way up to an hour at threshold. And I just did that in my Cape Epic preparation. But a lot of people can't just do an FTP test. That's not an actual hour test, and then express that immediately over all their energy systems, and be banging 3-minute repeats at VO2 max repeats at 120 with like very little rest. That's another thing that you want to train up. So by doing this and having the system adjust, you get a lot less failed workouts, and then you don't get crushed. Your motivation's a lot higher. If you really get those hard days that are hard but not all out, and you have some rest days, training is so much easier. You actually get faster, and it is not it doesn't become a slog.
And reminding people of the mechanics of how this works. You do your workouts, you fill out the survey, you get adaptations, and then your training plan constantly improves and adjusts to you, right? So another data point with this is that adapted workouts, meaning workouts on your calendar that adaptive training has not adjusted versus those that it has adjusted. So keep that in mind. Adaptive workouts have a 38% lower failure rates than non-adapted workouts. So that's also showing that down the road, when adaptive training makes changes to your training, it's also, there's like a compounding effect of the fact that not only are you failing less workouts, but then the ones that you're getting suggested also have have greater odds for success, which is what you want to know. right?
Yeah.
Those adaptations that you're getting, you want to have confidence that it's going to improve your odds at getting faster and getting the right workout at the right time. Exciting.
How I always think about this, John, when I explained it is, it's like if you're lifting weights and you're trying to bench press 150 pounds and you can't do it, well, other plans will have you, and even our previous plans will be like, well, next week we're going to do 170 or 160. Yeah. And it's like, well, I can't do 150. And then it can compound on each other. And that's the way people fall off training plans and training altogether, is by it not adjusting to your performance every time. And that's, again, one of the many aspects that we wanted to improve inside of TrainerRoad.
For sure. Another one. So athletes with adaptive training enabled were 20% more likely to increase their watts per kilogram, or their power to weight ratio. So that's huge. That's an awesome improvement to see that increase in likelihood. I want to add some stipulations to this though. So the first one, this is filtered for athletes over 3 watts per kilogram. So we're trying to weed out the outliers that you get with like brand new athletes, right? Additionally, this is over the course of the open beta. So this doesn't include much of the training season where athletes typically see improvements, right? In fact, if anything, athletes tend to see it's decreasing FTP when they go through the summer and into the fall. So that's something that once again, lots of confidence that we're getting from this number, that in the quote off season, in terms of improvements that athletes get, we're still seeing a 20% increase in likelihood that they're going to see an increase in their watt kg. That's what all of us athletes are going for, power to weight increase, right? And
there could be a sample bias too, of these are the people that are maybe the most dedicated or something like that. But I think you guys made sure like people were training, all that sort of stuff. Like, but anyways, it's just, it is a not a published metric that we're going to like put in a paper, but also for us, it shows, I think, combined with all the other metrics we have, and then the feedback from people in the forum and private and support, that it's a really good product and it's a huge improvement. I think this will be expected in training software for the future now, this sort of thing.
Absolutely. And it's worth saying too, is that this is by far not even remotely close to what we think is, I'm not even sure a finished product actually exists with adaptive training, right? It will constantly improve, and we're constantly improving it. So to see this just in the beta period, to already see these positive signs, is super encouraging. And now we have so much more that we're constantly working on to improve it, so then we can drive those numbers even higher.
I can say as CEO, this is the adaptive training is the future. And this is what we are betting our wagon on, and to put our effort into improve this. It's like if we're building a high rise, we've been building the foundation super deep, and now we have 2 stories of this skyscraper that we're trying to build. And we have the foundation, and we just want to keep now building on it and get that huge 100-story, 200, I don't know, 200 stories thing, big, huge Dubai building.
Burj Khalifa.
This isn't something like now we're moving to the next thing. This is the future. And as we get more data and more athletes, the system, we believe, will constantly improve, and we want to get better and better and better at it.
Absolutely. So do you want to get into some of the questions that we have from athletes, or do you want to jump into the rest of the stuff that we have listed out here, Nate? What do you want to do?
I'm here for you.
Okay, cool.
I'll do everything.
Sounds good. Let's just actually look at like the basics of, if you ask the question of how does it make you faster? It's kind of like 6 main ways. And Nate's mentioned a lot of them already, but the first one is that it customizes your training to your abilities and your needs and your goals. So that means that if you have a training plan, adaptive training is going to look at where your point B is, right? Getting from point A to point B. And it's constantly going to adjust your training so that you're taking your own pace to get to wherever your goal is. It also looks at, like Nate said, missed workouts or unique abilities. If you're really good at VO2 or not good at threshold, it adjusts for all that. So that's one. Those are a few ways that it makes you faster. Then number 2, the main one of the most profound ones is when life gets in the way and you miss those workouts. You have to take time off, whether it's proactive or reactive. You suddenly just missed a bunch of workouts, or you're planning vacation. Adaptive training works around that. It also works really well with FTP testing. So like what Nate said before, you can do a ramp test, you can get a great measure of your FTP, but that still might not mean that you can just nail VO2 intervals right off the bat that are super hard, or nail those super long sweet spot work, whatever it may be. You are a unique athlete and you have a unique profile. So as a result, you need to be trained uniquely. And that's what adaptive training does. It allows each of those energy systems to be trained independently while working with your FTP to make sure it's all anchored well. The other thing that it does too is it makes it easier to change, or I guess to kind of like and we'll get into this in a little bit, but it makes it easy for you to be able to make adjustments on the fly, but still keep everything on track. There's some days when I can't do the 90-minute workout that was scheduled, and I honestly only have time for 30 minutes. So instead of doing nothing, adaptive training has this cool thing called alternates that allows us to be able to, when you look at the scheduled workout, you can just click on that and you can say, I only have 30 minutes today. And it will suggest workouts that are similar in terms of intent that fit the constraints that my life puts upon me. It's super cool. You can go for longer too. If you have more time to fill up, you can change up the type of workouts, whatever else, but it tries to give you, or it gives you those suggestions to try to keep you on track and not let you derail too much.
Okay. So workout alternates, we just talked about it right now. The part that I've used, I've had life stress, and I don't know if you've ever had, this is my experience. You have a workout and it's planned and you're ready for it. And then something happens during that day or the night before. Maybe it's a kid crying, you can't sleep. Maybe you didn't eat well, or you had work stress or something like that. And then you get intimidated by that workout, right? And you're like, ugh, I do not want to do this workout. Sometimes you can do it and you get into one interval and it's like, it's fine. But what I've done is there's this way where you can look at it, and let's say it's a threshold level 5, which is air quotes productive, which we'll talk about. And what you can do is you can use workout alternatives and just get a slightly easier workout. So instead of a 5, you can do a level 4, and of the same like profile. So meaning if it's over unders, you can do, instead of a 5, it does a 4. And that would probably mean you either get more rest or probably shorter intervals. And the difference between that 1 point, especially when you're stressed, can be night and day. And you can get through the workout, you still progress, you still put like money in the bank. And it's so much better than doing the harder workout and then only, getting through one interval, stopping it, then you feel bad about yourself, or you shouldn't feel bad about yourself, but you can. I've fallen in that trap before too. It's so much better just to do a slightly easier workout. Sometimes you have to take the day off, but it's such a good, cool feature, and it makes it so easy to be able to just do an easier workout that day. And sometimes this happens for weeks. You might have weeks where you can't progress and you just kind of like maintain. And that also is good. And it gives you mental energy and space. And it's okay not to like bang it out every time and try to just constantly get faster and faster and faster.
Yeah, I completely agree. It's such a helpful feature, something over nothing, right? And it makes that possible. We talk about that on the podcast all the time. The other way is, so let's say that you're not following like a training plan for a specific event and you're very hyper driven toward that event. If you just want to train and do some base training for a while and you toss on a base training plan, it will still adapt within that. It'll adapt that plan, and it will just make sure that it's always trying to give you the best base fitness you can get, or build, or specialty, whatever plan you just toss on, that's fine. If you don't follow a plan and you don't want to, then you get Train Now from this. And that's a huge benefit and a really, really popular tool that we're seeing a lot of athletes use. Even those hyper-driven athletes, when they're in between plans or they have some time frame that they want to be able to fill or change up their training, Train Now is really good for it too. Do you want to explain Train Now really quick, Nate? Because it's a part of adaptive training.
Yeah, Train Now, the reason why we built it is a lot of people don't want to be on a training plan, and they don't want the commitment of a training plan. Their life isn't set up in a way where, or they don't have the motivation or the desire. I think the desire is the right way to say it, that they want to say, hey, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, whatever days you pick on a plan, I want to work out. And what Train Now does is it's almost like you open the app and it shows you 3 workouts: an endurance, a climbing, or an attacking workout that are right for your level. It's defaulted, I think, to 60 minutes, but you can change it for 30 minutes or 45 or hour and a half, whatever you want. And it just shows you what is appropriate for you. And it looks at what your levels are, what your current fitness is, and what workouts you've done recently, and gives you 3 suggestions. You can hit shuffle and see something again. But the idea is I can open the app, I can look at it. Oh, this looks interesting and fun. I'm going to do this workout, and just go. There's no mental energy. There's no stress. Who cares if you miss days, whatever you want to do. You can just jump in and go. And that is I actually did that over the summer. I used Train Now because I had a divorce, and I was like, I don't feel like doing a structured training plan right now. I really want to train when I feel like it because my emotions are changing all the time. And I didn't want to put myself in a situation where you feel bad for missing a workout, which no one should. Like, I want to say that, but it is something that just to be aware of. So I was aware of it. I didn't do a training plan. I use Train Now. And it's really fun, actually. It's almost like a little off season because you just get to train how you feel, and you can still get faster. And I did get faster, which is really cool. It's like a very effective way to train. I think for some people, actually, if the stress of a training plan, or not the stress, the I don't know what the right word is, John, but there is a training plan has to have me. I feel like a training plan, even with adaptive training, I have to follow it a certain way. And that could have some kind of impact mentally on me. If that's
that
the
level
way,
of commitment, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That might not be necessary for everybody. And it could even be damaging for some people to add on that sort of pressure. Yeah, for sure.
You could just use Train Now and feel better and actually get faster, have less stress, and just open it up and see how you want to train, when you want to train. And be a lot faster. You might not win a national championship, but if you're trying to finish some race or improve your category, and this makes you more consistent, 100% you're going to be faster, right?
For sure.
Reduce stress, make you more consistent. It's going to be awesome.
And one of the big things that it fixes, all of us are not very good at estimating what we can and can't do, whether it's recency bias or whether it's whatever it might be. So we just drop into the workout, and then you'd say, oh, I want to do that workout today. And you do that workout, and then it ends up being super easy and you don't feel like you got the benefit, or really hard and it completely blows you up. And this is what Train Now really fixes, is it allows you to just jump in, pick what you want to do, but it guides that suggestion so that it's appropriate for you. So in that way, when you just drop in, you're not getting blown up. It always feels like the right workout at the right time. It's a huge help. And the other side of this, let's say that you don't follow a training plan, like you aren't using Plan Builder to follow something really specific. You haven't put a training plan on your calendar just to train generally, and you aren't doing Train Now. Everyone still benefits from adaptive training in a different way, and that now everything is quantified in a totally different way. Every time you look at a workout, Nate was mentioning earlier, like a level 4 versus a level 5. And that gets into something that we have called workout levels. So we've used our machine learning to be able to analyze all of the workouts in our library. And if you've used TrainerRoad, you've probably noticed a huge amount of new workouts have come up. And that's because of this. Because what we did is we looked at this and we said, analyze all of these workouts to find out how hard this workout is in relation to another workout that's perhaps similar, but actually different. So our system looks at what energy system it works, but then also how it works, that energy system. Is it over unders? Is it just hard start intervals? Is it sustained intervals? Is it short ones? If it's VO2 max, is it on offs, or is it bursts, or is it that reduced amplitude billet profile? It looks at that and cuts these workouts down into all these very, very fine-tuned categories. And then it's able to say, this workout is harder than this workout by this precise amount. And when it does that, that allows our system to be able to make the right recommendation for whatever workout you have next. But it also allows you as an athlete to look at workouts and understand, oh, okay, that one is harder than that one, or that one is easier than that one. And it's cool because we actually just had an athlete on, he just tagged us on Instagram, and he had taken some time off, and adaptive training is super smart. And it has something built into it called energy system decay. So when you take time off, it knows, depending on how much time you've taken off, how much reduction you should expect in your aerobic capabilities in the endurance zone or in the threshold zone, whatever it might be. And it gave him a workout. And he was like, there's no way I can do that workout. That's crazy. And Nate and I have had that same experience so many times where we've gotten it suggested to us and we're like, oh, that's, that's way too easy. And it ends up being perfect. Or that's way too hard. And it ends up being perfect. He ended up absolutely nailing the workout. And he was like, that's incredible. Like, I never would have thought that I could have done that workout just coming back from time off. But because it has this really measured way of doing it, it makes it so that you get the right workout at the right time. So that's another way. Everyone, when they look at workouts, you can see the levels.
I think too, we could say sometimes it's a training zone rather than energy system, because some training zones have the same energy system. And I think I'm guilty of this too, where I use those words interchangeably. But before the physiology police message us in the forum, we're sorry for if we do that. But just the understanding that performance in sweet spot and threshold is different for athletes. Even if the energy systems are extremely close that are being worked in those, they are different workout zones. And that's what we're concentrating are those zones.
Yep, for sure. So I want to recap the simplicity of using it. All you do your workouts, fill out your surveys, you'll get adaptations. And then after that, you'll see your abilities improve and your consistency is going to go up. It's exciting.
If you like this video, make sure you give us a thumbs up.
If you didn't like this video, you can give it a thumbs down, but let us know what you would have done differently in the comments below.
If you want to see more of these videos, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you want to become a faster cyclist, check out TrainerRoad.com.
Do it.